because I realize he's got a terrific left hook. So obviously, I'll be watching out for that left hook. He's going to have to surprise me with that right hand to really make me take note. But mostly what I really don't want to get hit with is that left hook.
November 2000, and Lennox Lewis stood at the top of a heavyweight division, still trying to clean up the mess of the 90s. The Tyson era had collapsed. Holyfield was winding down, and the belts had been passed around like loose change. Lewis had brought order to the chaos. With the WBC, IBF, and IBO titles around his waist, he was starting to get the respect his resume deserved, but critics claimed he lacked a fight against a true wildcard with raw and unpredictable power. That's where David Tua came in, the Tua Man, the knockout artist from Samoa by way of New Zealand. Shorter than most heavyweights, broader than all of them, and carrying a left hook that had taken out some of the most durable men in the division. He wasn't just exciting, he was genuinely feared. By 2000, he'd already sparked John Ruiz in 19 seconds, flattened Oleg Muskayev, and stopped Hasim Rahman late. Tua had never even been dropped in his whole career. The knockout ratio was sky high, and his chin was granite. With Tua, the plan was always the same: walk forward, slip low, and detonate that left hook. It didn't need to be clean, it just needed to land. This was the one people circled, the last real threat to Lennox's crown before the Tyson fight could finally be made. And on paper it looked like a nightmare. An explosive pressure fighter with nothing to lose and everything to gain, going up against a calm, composed champion with the world watching and no room for error. Could Lennox outthink the beast? Or was he about to become another name on Tua's knockout resume?
There's only one Lennox Lewis, walking along, singing a song, walking in the Lewis Wonderland.
By the time Lennox Lewis stepped in to face David Tua, he was deep into the second chapter of his career. The raw, promising heavyweight who'd won Olympic gold for Canada back in 1988 had come a long way since then. He'd turned pro in the UK and carried the hopes of British boxing with him, but it hadn't always been smooth sailing. Early in his pro career, he was called too upright, too robotic, and when he was knocked out by Oliver McCall in 1994, plenty of people thought that was it for him, that he'd been exposed. But Lennox did what most fighters don't. He tore it all down and rebuilt from the inside. He brought in Emanuel Steward, the Hall of Fame trainer behind legends like Thomas Hearns and Vladimir Klitschko, and he started fighting smarter. He became more composed, more measured, and turned into a fighter who didn't just win, he controlled every second of the fight. He avenged the McCall loss, outboxed Evander Holyfield across 2 fights, and dismantled the contenders who were supposed to push him. But even with all that, there was always this undercurrent that maybe he hadn't faced that one unpredictable danger man, the kind of fighter who could end it with a single swing. That's what made the Tua fight more than just another defense. It was the kind of test that could blow everything apart if he got it wrong. David Tua came into the fight with a reputation that traveled well beyond boxing circles. He was built like a tank, stood 5'10", and weighed over 240 pounds. Compact, explosive, and utterly fearless. He'd been born in Samoa, raised in New Zealand, and thrown into boxing by his father at the age of 7. By 15, he was the national heavyweight champion. By 19, he had an Olympic bronze medal from Barcelona, but what really defined Tua wasn't his amateur pedigree. It was what he did to people as a pro. He'd knocked out 16 men in the first round alone. When he hit John Ruiz, the man didn't just fall, he crumpled like someone had pulled a lever in his spine. His style was simple: pressure, bob, weave, and launch the left hook like it was fired from a catapult. And behind that power was a jaw that refused to crack. Not once had Tua been dropped, not as a pro, not even when he went 12 rounds in a record-setting war against Ike Ibebuchi, a fight that broke CompuBox records for the most punches thrown in a heavyweight fight and still gives fans whiplash just thinking about it. So now you've got one man standing at the top of the sport with every belt that matters and the weight of a legacy on his shoulders, and in the opposite corner, there's a block of concrete in gloves who only needs one shot to change everything. There were no warm-ups, no grace periods, no feeling out rounds promised with this one. Just 12 rounds scheduled, and a world waiting to see if Lennox Lewis could hold it all together while a human wrecking ball tried to take his head off.
The distance in 19 seconds. World title fight number 14. Tua going for that left hook early. Great right hand from Lewis there too. Just
watch for Lewis to land that long right hand. That's what he's going to look for.
From the opening bell, you could see exactly what Lennox Lewis had planned. Lewis stayed tall behind the jab, keeping everything long and tight, while Tua stayed low and stalked forward. No rush from either man, just two heavyweights trying to find their rhythm.
Officially for the WBC and IBF World Heavyweight Championships, but in reality, much like the first fight with Evander Holyfield at the moment, trying to find a way past this jab and start to make one or two mistakes.
Then keeping it long range, just peppering him with them long shots.
Left hook there, Glenn.
That's the right hand, that's the punch that'll stop.
Great right hand too.
Right near the end of the second, Tua snuck one through. Nothing that shook Lewis, but enough to let him know the danger was still there. Both were landing now, but neither had taken over.
Proven Tua is getting closer.
Just for 12 rounds. It's already gone longer than Lennox is.
Waiting for Tua and not keeping that jab out strong enough. Needs to concentrate on that.
If he ever gets close enough to land it. There's the attempted left hook again.
It's a bit as well, Lewis. Can't afford to be too cocky.
That's good body punches from Tua, and that would be the answer for him. Referee wants them.
Well, Lewis not throwing out the punches that he needs to do. He needs to keep Tua off with good punches.
Very pro-Tua crowd. Big finish to the round from Lewis. Excellent in the first round, totally dominant. Now he's opening up again here at the start of the fourth. There he goes again by a couple of useful fringe contenders and has pulled it round late on. Ooh. The left hook again. Here's round 5. Lennox Lewis with this performance. They respect him. That's a...
When he feels he's done that a bit, took the sting out of Tua. Just letting him feel the power bit by bit.
Right hand from Tua. Seemed to land a glancing blow. Oh, that time the left hand does get through. Doesn't know enough. That could change. He's always got the hope. That's a really good body shot from Lewis, the paraglider of Bo Holyfield fame.
By the halfway point, it was starting to look like a boxing clinic. Tua kept walking forward, trying to break through, but Lennox was just too sharp. The jab was constant, the feet were smart, and the left hook everyone came to see hadn't found a home.
And there's a right to follow. Well, at least that will lift Tua.
It takes a bit more than that, I think, but he's trying hard, getting close. Another good left hook. Proud man, and it'll worry him that he's missing so much, lurching in.
I think he is realizing that this is something different. Tua writes songs and poetry. This jab. But there's still half the fight to go. Real preparation for a test like this. I think the accusation of caution against Lennox Lewis is a fair one. Maybe more than one league. Classy right hand. Picked off again. From side to side slightly, changing the angle.
In this round, Lewis finding Tua pretty easy to hit with that punch.
Low blow from Tua. He seems so fired up all week, Tua. Tonight, for me, from the moment he's got in the ring, he's just looked a little bit flat.
Underestimated the skills, the strength, and everything else that Lennox Lewis possesses. Time to prove he can do it.
From Lennox Lewis, using all his natural advantages here. Before people get too critical, I can remember a guy called Muhammad Ali. That's better from Tua, 3 punches to the body. Class from Lewis again. Here's round 9. Tua hasn't won a round so far. Little smirk on Tua's face. They'll be so disappointed watching, I know, in exuberance and the war cries. He can really cut it at this level. Huge moment of drama yet to come here.
Yes, he hasn't. He hasn't been that sort of fight Lewis has used.
Oh, big left hook. Blocked the attempted left hook.
Lennox pushed Tua under the back foot now. Starting to let him have the shot. Looks like he's softened him.
Extra confidence now. He's just beginning a little dance. Look at Lennox. He might be lining up something here. And Lewis comes back out to work again in round 10 in his size 17 years. Man and boy. Telegraph the left hook, and Lewis makes him pay here with a whole series of punches in bunches. He's getting a boxing lesson in there. Twice more misses with the left hook.
Well, 35's not that bad for a heavyweight. He's really in his prime at the minute.
He's hardly got a mark on him.
That's exactly right.
Blocked again, the left hook.
Tua had taken a lot of clean shots by now, but to his credit, he kept coming. He looked tired, marked up and behind on the cards, but he never stopped trying to find that one shot. A proud performance from the Islander up to this point.
It looks like it's going to go the full 12 rounds, because it's not a spectacle, because Tua can't make it one. Too good, too classy, Lennox Lewis. I think he might have won every round on every card. You could argue about the third, possibly. It's late, very late. One last gamble from David Tua.
When the final bell rang, there was no debate. Lennox had boxed his way through 12 controlled rounds and barely taken a clean shot. The judges handed him a wide, unanimous decision, and the belts stayed right where they were, on the shoulders of the best heavyweight on the planet. Tua never got another chance at the world title. That night in Las Vegas was as close as he ever came to the top. Lewis walked out with everything still intact: the belts, the pride, the respect. He'd faced the biggest threat left in the division and made it look like routine work. If you enjoyed this one and you've got memories of watching Lennox or Tua in their prime, drop a comment below. Let us know where you were when this one went down. And if you're the kind of fan who thinks the jab is just as deadly as a left hook, give this video a like so we know you're one of us.